Okay guys, welcome back to Mindmeld Tech. Today we're going to be going over a Doctor Who build. So I'll give you some background about this build. This build was something that I did for my wife about 5-6 years ago. We're using, inside it we got a gigabyte motherboard, pretty solid motherboard. It's got DDR3, 8 gigs in it. It has an FX processor chip, AMD FX. I was 6300 series off the top of my head. I can't remember exactly what chip it is. And then for the video card, we have a R9 Fury. It's the Asus Strix. So, I mean, it's time. It's time to do some upgrading. You know, we do a lot of gaming together and things like that. And you know, I've gotten an upgrade in the last couple of years, and now she's getting into the point where she's starting to do some YouTube. I'll put a link to her channel below if you're into kids' toys and things like that. You know, you can check it out. But we're also looking at possibly doing some streaming together and things like that. And it was just kind of time to, you know, upgrade her a little bit. So we are going to reuse the video card for right now because we want to see what happens with the market in the next couple months before we invest in a card. And the R9 Fury is still pretty solid for what she's doing. It's a pretty beefy card, at least, you know, so that's not too bad. But but what we're going to be doing today for upgrades is, first off, we're going to go to 16 gigs of DDR4, 3200 speed. We're also going to go with a Ryzen processor. This is, I mean, could have probably went heavier on the processor, but this is still going to be a solid processor. This is the Ryzen 5 2600. You know, it's going to be a decent upgrade from where she's at. We're going to hopefully be able to fit this Cooler Master aftermarket cooler on it. We want to do some RGB. RGB. Yeah, I had somebody catch me on that once already. I'm going to use a motherboard that I've used in a couple other builds and I'm really fond of. This is the ROG Strix B450F gaming motherboard. I like this. It's been a pretty solid motherboard for me so far in some of the builds that I've used it in. So we want to continue along those lines. You know, just stuff that we know is pretty reliable. We're also going to be putting in some deep cool fans. We're going to replace all the fans in the case with these LED, you know, RGB fans from Deep Cool. I'll put links to a bunch of stuff below. For the most part, I got everything at Micro Center. Again, I live near Micro Center, but I'll do some other links. You know, if you're interested in seeing these, like the Deep Cool fans I got on Amazon. I think it was like $60 for a 5-pack. So not too bad. We're also going to upgrade the power supply. When I say upgrade, it's not really, you know, an upgrade. It's just the power supply that's in there it's been recycled. I've used it in several builds over the years. It's probably about 10 years old, and we're just going to replace it. So I went with the Micro Center brand of power supply, their power spec. I've been using these in a few builds so far, and they seem to be pretty solid. This is 750 watts, you know, bronze plus. I could have paid a little more and got a gold, but you know, I'm comfortable with the bronze. Nice thing about these the nice thing about these Micro Center ones is, you know, I can go in there, and if something happens, I can exchange it. I can say, okay, give me another one, or you know, it didn't do what I needed to do, or it broke, give me store credit. You know, you got a couple options with those, and that's one of the things I love about having a Micro Center. So anyways, we have that. And then let's look at the case. You know, I haven't decided yet if I'm going to, you know, do the whole build, or if I'm going to fast forward it and then go into software installation, or if I'm going to do software installation in a second video. I got a couple people, you know, have asked me, you know, how do you install Windows? So we'll look at some of that. Whether I'm going to include it in this video or not, we'll see. You guys have to stay to the end to find out. But anyways, let's take a look at our case. This is a an old Corsair Carbide case. One of the earlier ones, obviously. So I'll get this up here. And you can see, we'll get some good footage here of the actual paint job. Like I said, my wife is a huge Doctor Who fan, Whovian, I believe they're called, and Tom Baker era is her favorite. So I think it was around Christmas. I found a local artist and commissioned to have the case painted. And what I ended up doing is we went back to that era, and they put some things on there. The Daleks on the front, however you pronounce it. Please don't hate me for mispronouncing anything. On the side there's a scene with Tom Baker and the TARDIS, and then there's some on the front side, the side over here. There's some of the characters from robots and robot men and things like that on the sides, and they also took on the sides where the intake vents are and painted these stripes. Tom Baker always wore this big iconic scarf, and so that's incorporated in there too. You can kind of see some of that right here. This was actually the colors of the scarf, so it was pretty neat overall. And like I said, it's ready for a facelift, and we're going to do that today. Like I said, this motherboard that was in here wasn't too bad. It's got the USB Type-C in the back. It's got a couple of USB 3.0s. It's got the 2.0s, obviously. Not horrendous. So I'm going to give you guys a look-see at the case, show off the paint job real quick, and then we're going to get into it. I'm not going to film me taking the guts out of it. I'll probably film putting some of the stuff back in, and that's where we'll be at. And like I said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm hoping this cooler I bought will fit in here. Now that I'm looking at it, hopefully it will. All right, let's get started. All right, guys, so we're back. I got the case tore down, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our motherboard out of here. And we got a lot of goodies in here. We'll set this off to the side. Like I said, always reference your book for where your RAM slots are. We've got a bunch of odds and ends we're going to probably use. Get some of those out of there. So like I said, it'll be good stuff, but I like this board a lot. It's got some different things in here. It's got the Republic of Gamers, blah, blah, blah. It's got this little thing here that you can switch out right here on this, if you like this one better. It's got, for your M.2 drives, it's got the screws. It's got some miscellaneous paperwork. Oh, it's got some stickers. If you're into the stickers, oh yeah. We got the sticker action going on. All right, so let's get down to business. Have to excuse the crinkling of the paper. But like I said, I'm excited about this. My wife and I, we game together. She's gonna start doing, like I said, she's got her first YouTube video up, and looking forward to that. Like I said, I'll put a link down below if you're curious and check it out. It's gonna be just about baby stuff. We have a young child, probably about 13 months, and so she's doing some stuff based around that on YouTube, just some parent things, some toy reviews, just random stuff. But anyways, all right, so here we go. We got this here, got our motherboard. We're gonna put our processor in. It's gonna be awesome. I'll put that up there. That's the discs. Put our RAM in too. We got to figure out which slots to go in. I always reference the slots, because something I've discovered, with some of these things is, like I used an ASRock board before, and the slots were different on the ASRock board than the Asus board, and it was kind of weird. And then I found out, part of the problem I was having with getting that board to fire up was the memory. So I mean, read, research. Don't just assume you can, slam some things in the slots and go. I'm also hoping my cooler is going to fit into here. I really don't want to use a stock cooler. Look at that. Yeah, Ryzen. You know, I've been really excited to see AMD really turn the corner here on some of this stuff, because, you know, I've been an AMD fan just because of the price for a lot of years. My current rig is actually the first Intel rig that I bought. I got an i5 6600K that I'm currently using my personal build. I'm always make sure your triangle here is matched up with the triangle there. It should just fit in there and just drop. Then you can lock it down in, nice and gentle. Yeah. So we got that. So this is our cooler. This is a Cooler Master. I'm sorry. You know, black edition, because it's not chromed, it's blacked out. I thought that was kind of cool, no pun intended. So we're going to first thing we're going to do before we install this, we're going to take this fan off. There's a bracket here that you can it just kind of pops off, and that's pretty wicked. Now, one of the things about this is it comes with a second bracket, so you can do a push-pull. I think if the RAM is going to facilitate it, we're going to probably do that. All right. So we got a box of hardware that came with the Cooler Master. I said, here's those extra brackets so we can do a push-pull. Like I said, we'll just kind of sit this here for a minute, because I think once we get this on, let me just check. I want to see if there's going to be memory clearance, because like I said, eventually I would love to get a second fan for this. Oh yeah, that's going to clear. That'll clear real nice. Got some space down there. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's going to be something we're definitely going to pursue then. So what's in here at the Cooler Master? Get this off the side. Tons and tons of hardware. We also have this splitter here. This is nice to have. Also, it's got braided line. For those of you who watch this channel, I love having braided line. But what this does is, you know, you can hook your two fans on your cooler into this right here, one respectively to each one, and then you can plug it into your motherboard and run both fans. All right. So we have this. This looks like a little bracket for the back. I will take these off and then put this on, so that we can then get this going. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so here we go. So this is kind of interesting how this goes. So, you know, you got to make these little pegs here. In the back, you'll notice you got a little bit of I guess if you can kind of see it, a little bit of an indent. You got a square screw, and it just kind of fits in there. And then this can slide to one way or the other. So when you put this little piece on there, just kind of slides on and clips. It's a tight fit, obviously, but when you slide it on there, you have the ability to move this to one side or the other. And so you can put it in the back of the motherboard, whether it's an AM4, AM3 socket, you know, things like that. So I'll get that together real quick. and then we'll put it in the board. I mean, it's not a bad little design. I guess it makes it very universal when you're working on it, you know, because you can use multiple boards, and you know, you can just slide the pieces where they need to be, you know, etc. So not too bad. When I was first looking at it, I was like, what the heck did they do? But you know, with looking at the parts list and how things went together, I was able to figure it out. It just took me half a second. So there we go. We got our 4 pegs on there. We'll just got to take these off, and we'll be able to put it in the back. Put some thermal grease on there, and go to town. So anyways, so after we removed this back plate, which it's a for me, that's a first. I'm sure other coolers that you remove that, but so basically you put this through the back there, through the motherboard. And what we're going to have next is we got it says these are, what are these? These are F. I believe they're these big thick bolts. Let me grab these really quick. Yes, they are. So we have these things. They're big, they're thick. They just kind of get screwed on there. So this is kind of interesting. Like I said, always make sure you read your instructions and whatnot. So we'll just put these on there finger tight for right now. Then I suppose this is going to, oh yeah. Yeah, that should, that's going to be real cool. All right, and so it also comes with, let me get my Zool toolkit here. It also comes with this piece on here. It's that you can put over it. It's got a little screw in it, but so you can kind of tighten it down. You can put that there. Give it a couple turns. Do this one. We'll give this a couple turns. Like I said, it's look at the back. Ta-da! Very interesting. So we got that. That's on there. We're good. So our next step is to apply our thermal paste. Well, they say a pea size drop. Well, I'll do a little bit bigger than a pea. Whoop. There we go. If you can't tell that I got kids with a little boop there. So on the bottom we have this. I want to take that off. Excuse me. It's got a nice finish to it. So definitely want to mount this so that the Cooler Master is facing the appropriate way. All right. It's time to make the magic happen. Press down a little bit on these screws, screw in. Now what you're going to want to do with these, it's kind of like tightening the lug nuts on your car tire. You want to do a pattern that's kind of opposite. Now once you got everything tightened, they won't turn anymore. Perfect. We are good to go there. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to install our RAM, and then we're going to get ready to drop this inside the case and go from there. All right. So the motherboard recommends that we put the RAM in A2 and B2. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. that should be super. Let me get all these pieces back in here. So it's a neat little cooler. I'm looking forward to seeing how well it does. You know, we wanted to go with something aftermarket, you know, something that kind of looked cool and that we could, you know, that would help keep it cool. You know, come on, something a little flashy, but not like total, you know, unicorn puke. You know, but it does have the RGB fan. Like I said, I'll probably invest in a second one. You know, one of the things, like I was saying with this, is, you know, it's one of the things we're looking at here is, you know, you're gonna have some clearance. You know, we can end up putting 2 of these in here. So you put one there, and then, you know, another one, you know, will fit pretty nice. On this side, we'll still have RAM clearance, which is cool. Like I said, we're going to be using the G-Skill Ripjaws 5. It's a pretty decent kit, 16 gig. Should fly for her. Clicky, clicky. Yeah, if she wants, later we can maybe go up to 32. So like I said, she's just getting into YouTube. She's gonna be doing some video editing. I figure the 16 will be a good base. And I like the G-Skill. It's been pretty good to me so far. So we got that in. So we will get our fan installed here. Like I said, the thing that I liked about this cooler is it's set up so later on I can do a push-pull if I wanted to. I mean, I got, you know, a couple, you know, I got a couple of fans that aren't, you know, the appropriate fans for this that I could possibly put in here, but you know, just to have the push-pull, but I'm gonna wait till we can get the actual fan. I mean, I know they're a little more expensive, but you know, it'll work out all right. So let me see here. I want to take a good look at, you know, where we're at here. So somewhere. See what's nice here. Let me move this so you can see. Is we have our RGB header here, which, you know, I'm probably definitely going to be plugging into there. Then we also have our fan headers up there. Let's go ahead and put this on this side here. It's interesting. Looks like there is just enough room to put another stick of RAM in there. It'll be tight, but it'll fit. So we could fill those slots if we wanted to. We'll figure out the best place to put those. Like I said, our RGB is right here. We'll plug that in now. And that'll be right where it needs to be. I'm gonna have some of the CPU fans. Like I said, I'll have to play with that a little bit, but we can plug that one in there for now. I'm not gonna play with the wire routing here. Kind of play with the wire routing here in a little bit once I get it in the case. But yeah. Speaking of which, let's put it in the case. All right. So here we are. Here's our case. Oh, I should probably take this old I/O shield out of here, huh? All right. What's really nice is with this board, the I/O shield's built into it already. Just got to kind of line it up. There's a peg. There we go. We're on the peg. We are good. And it looks like, let me double check here. Looks like our cooler's gonna fit. Yeah, it is. That's gonna be awesome. Yep, you can see some of the paint work on this is pretty cool. Like I said, I'm anxious to have it all lit up so you guys could see it. All right, I'm gonna tighten down these screws and we will go from there. Looks like I can kind of adjust this fan a little bit too. So let me know what you guys think about this build. Like I said, it's a pretty cool build, I think. Now I know the wife is really happy with it. It's going to be interesting to get that video card in here too. Like I said, it should be fun. All right. I think it's going to be interesting to get some of my fans on top also. As you can see, well, like I said, it's gonna have to do some wire routing here. We'll have to see how that goes. Gonna be just a tad bit of wire routing. I have confidence to be able to get it done, but some of those fans it's gonna be interesting. One of the nice things about this toolkit is, because I don't know if I fix it as anything like this, but with the Zool toolkit, it telescopes. So, I mean, I can kind of get into some of those harder spots, which I thought was kind of cool. All right, so that's in there. I'm gonna put the power supply in next, and then we're gonna put the fans in. Something I've discovered, and this has fan slots on the front up here, but they're made so that, like, this is the front panel here. I gotta clean that still, so please ignore that. But they're made, the fans, the front of the case of fans are made to fit inside here. And something I've learned over the years is that does not bring in the best airflow. Now, the bottom fan I'm probably gonna leave mounted on the inside in there, but this fan here I'm going to end up mounting on the inside here so that there's more of a gap, and so it'll pull, so there's more of a gap, so it's not in here, so it's not in here trying to pull air out, but it's behind there, so it has like a bigger gap. For lack of better terms, it'll be able to suck harder. And that's what we want. We want it to, get the best airflow it can that way. So that's what we're going to end up doing there. All right, let's get our power supply here. Like I said, this power supply is a power spec. It is actually Micro Center's brand. And seeing how Micro Center's not going anywhere, I'm going to probably continue to shop there. That's because I said the warranties with this thing are pretty cool. And they have a whole line of these, so you have an opportunity to get modular or semi-modular. Like this one here happens to be semi-modular, but and this will be something we mount in the bottom, upside down I should say. So I wanted to pull air from the bottom. I know some people talk about not having your computer on the floor. we don't really have that option here. Our computers have to be on the floor, but they're hardwood floors. We just have to make sure we're doing our due diligence as far as cleaning. And if you look at one of my other videos, I have a really nice duster. It's a CPU cleaner, or I think it's called, or something like that. But it's basically it's like a dust buster. Like I said, I don't use cans of air anymore. Man, this thing is gonna look slick. Like I said, I'm really happy with how the motherboard looks in here, especially that cooler. You know, that cooler really, it's really gonna be awesome. Like I said, I think my wife is gonna be really thrilled with this. You know, eventually we'll do something. At least these are kind of sleeved, but you can still kind of see the ketchup and mustard there. Eventually we'll get her something really nice in there. I might end up making a shroud for this portion. What I'd eventually like to do long term is get rid of this hard drive bay and you know, go from there. She does use an optical drive still. It's just her personal preference. I mean, you know, to each their own. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, I'd love to take that out there and maybe do some kind of liquid cooling in here, like, you know, like a custom loop or whatnot. But we should have a lot of fun. Like I said, this is going to really up our game as far as, you know, gaming in general, streaming and all the other things that, you know, we do is together. And I think she's going to enjoy it. Put this on the side. Yeah, this is going to be nice. All right, power supply is in there. We'll do some cable routing, and we'll end up getting some of these fans in. And some of these I want to get fans plugged in first. I mean, sorry, not the fans plugged in first, but the cables plugged in first, just because it's once you put the fans in there, it'll be a little harder to get your hands into certain places. As I said, the fans are going to really make the space smaller. You know, like I said too, and I've used these fans in the past, and they have a hub that you mount in the back of the case, and works out pretty nice. All right, so I'm a little disappointed about this 8-pin. You know, we're going to play with that a little bit. You know, like I said, I might have to get some cable extensions or something. I really wanted to run that through the back and up through the top. I wasn't able to get that done. So I'm going to put this one, we'll run it through the back here. So like I said, I'll just have to get a nicer power supply for her at one point, like something modular. And then maybe just get some really nice sleeved cables. You know, that's a long-term goal there. All right. Like I said before, fat hands in small places. Gotta love it. Oh, almost had it. It's like that commercial with the guy with the dollar bill and the fishing pole. Yeah. There we go. All right, it's starting to come together. Like I said, there's some ketchup and mustard. We're eventually going to get that fixed up. I will invest in a better power supply with some sleeve cables at some point. But like I said, kind of on a budget this to go around, so this is what we got. All right. Got that in there. We're going to mount the fans. I'll show you guys the wiring, and the fan placement, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, guys, so this is what we got right here. It's not one of my, it's a pretty decent job. I mean, I had some limited space going in there. So, like I said, overall, not too bad. Kind of happy with it. Some things you can see here. Like I said, we just have the one fan here. I'll eventually get a second fan, so we'll get a push-pull. That'll be really cool. Also, like I said, I was talking before, I put a fan outside here. There's a fan on the bottom down here inside where this is. I also removed any of the mesh that was in there. The reason for removing the mesh is it's increased airflow. The mesh actually inhibits your airflow. I mean, if you're that worried about dust, clean your computer. Just my 2 cents. So the reason I put this on the inside and not on the outside here and not the inside is, and I've learned this over the last couple of years, is when you have something in here in the front, it's kind of choked. I mean, it's still bringing in air, and so I do have a fan in the bottom doing that. But this here, because it's got a more open gap here, it's really gets a much more airflow coming in through the side here, through this, and it really just, for lack of a better term, sucks. I mean, it'll suck a massive amount of air being on the outside like that. I really wish I could have done that with the bottom one, but like I said, right now there's a hard drive bay down there. I'm hoping sometime this year to rectify that. I'd love to take that hard drive bay out of there and get her some M.2 drives, because the board has 2 slots for them. But like I said, we were on a budget, so we did what we could. And like I said, pretty cool. And then like I said, there's a cooler master there. It fits pretty good. Anxious for it. That's a card we're recycling there. I think I said that was an R7 earlier. It is an R9, the R9 Fury. So you have to excuse me there. But yeah, we're ready to rock and roll. So I'm gonna get ready to do some software installation, and we'll go from there. Yeah, hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so some final thoughts that I want to go over on this build. For starters, it's not done. There's some more things that we want to do with it, and what I'm thinking of is possibly a shroud on the bottom. But one of the issues with this case that I found is cable management. I'm also hoping I can convince my wife to get rid of her optical drive at some point. Maybe we can take it out of there. But hey, sometimes I still wish I had an optical drive of mine, just because I'm a little bit older. I still have a huge CD collection. I loaded most of it onto my PC, but I mean, I still buy new CDs, so maybe I'm a little weird there. But anyways, but we eventually want to replace the power supply, put a full modular power supply in there. I'll probably do something with cable mod, or Asian horse, or something like that. Get some custom cabling in there. I'd like to add more LED to it. Not LED, I'm sorry. I'd like to add more RGB to it if I can. I want to maybe light the case up a little more. Because when you look at some of the B-roll that we had, the side of the case is kind of lightly painted. It's supposed to look like the vortex for you Doctor Who fans, when it's going through space and time. That's what that's supposed to look like. And I don't think right now, with the amount of lighting we have in it, it does it enough justice. So I want to get some strips to put in there. But like I said, this is one step in a process. We're on a budget. We got the meat and potatoes of what we needed, the processor, the RAM, the motherboard, and kind of worked around with some other things that we had. And like I said, overall pretty happy with it. I wanted to get some benchmarks down, but didn't have a chance to. But I might actually do that when we upgrade her video card. Do before and after then. Just because, like I said, we're using the R9 Fury right now, and it's a decent card, but like I said, she wants to start doing some streaming, and that was one of the reasons we were beginning the upgrade. And I think if we are going to do streaming, unless Big Navi has something that is going to be, built towards streaming, we're going to probably put an NVIDIA card in there, just for the streaming capability that it has, that takes some of that relief off the CPU and whatnot. But that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the labor of love that I've started on for the wife there. Be sure to subscribe. We're going to have some more content coming up that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm also going to put a link to my wife's channel that she launched not too long ago. She has, by the time this video comes out, she should have about 2 videos up. So if you want to see some reviews on little kid toys, check it out. It's pretty cool. She's pretty good at it. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time on Mindmeld Tech.